This is the Freeheel Life Podcast, episode number 121. I'm your host, Josh Madsen, coming at you from the Freeheel Life shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. Monday. Here we are again. Brothers and sisters of the turn, we are back for another edition of this week's podcast. And I've got some guests in tow. Not much news, room, and notes because we're starting to wind down the season. People are starting to close up. Spring skiing's definitely going to be good. And backcountry is always a little more stable in the springtime, and you can hit those bigger objectives. So I hope that wherever you may be, you are starting to think about some spring skiing. The only news for the shop is that we are going to be closing on April 2nd. That will be our final day of the year, and we would love for you to come back in. We have tons of things on sale right now. Lots of good deals on some of the leftover stock, and you can check that out at freeheellife.com for more details. So today I'm going to be joined by a couple now regular folks on the podcast. I'm going to be bringing back Taylor T2 Hennum from the shop, as well as Miles Shaffer, our Freeheel Life shop manager. These two fine gentlemen just got back a few weeks ago from the 32nd annual Midwest Tele Fest. They went out with our good friend Keith Opperman, who runs that event. He happens to also be our Freeheel Life certified service and demo center lead liaison. But I wanted to do a little debrief session with these guys, hear about what's going on, how it was, and what it was like going to the UP of Michigan for some fine teleskiing. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. Hope you enjoy it. All right, boys. Welcome to the Freeheel Life Podcast. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Heck yeah, great.
Good to see you. This is you guys are repeat customers. T2, you were on most recently.
Yeah, that's right. This voice is T2.
Welcome, T2. And we got Miles.
Yep.
Our Freeheel Life shop manager over here. And all right, so I was stoked to get you guys back. Last time T2 was here talking about being in ski movies and going on tour and being a rock star. And I don't remember the last time you were... What?
With my dad.
Oh, was that the last time with your dad?
Yep.
That was a good one. And you guys recently just went on a trip to the Midwest Tele Fest. Was it 32nd? I should have looked that up.
Were you the 30th?
Yeah, I was the 30th.
So
yeah,
32nd.
Last year, 32nd.
Sorry, Keith. Keith's like, you guys don't even know what you're talking about. But yeah, you guys just went out to Midwest Tele Fest. This has kind of started to be a little bit of a tradition. So I went 2 years ago. Tay went last year with Wyatt, and then you guys went this year. And I thought we'd get you guys together to do a little debrief. Later this week, we're going to be putting out your travel vlog. That's a video blog. It's really just a video. I don't know why they call them vlogs. But you guys recorded your adventures along the way. So I think we're going to have that out on Friday, and wanted to have you guys on and kind of talk a little bit about it. So how was the trip?
Oh, it was amazing. The Midwest is it's a gem for sure. Not what I expected, but it was a great time.
What did you expect? You're from the East Coast.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought it would be something similar to that, but I'd say the tree skiing was slightly different. I think partially because they kind of clear out the glades at the Porkies. So, like, it was some of the best, like, tree skiing I've ever done, I'd say. Also, I did not expect the snow to be so good since we're right by the lake. You've got that lake effect like here in Salt Lake. So we were just skiing blower powder, which was epic. But I think my favorite part was just the people. Like, if you didn't have anyone to ski with, you just wait at the bottom of the lift, and someone with telebindings would show up, and you'd be like, hey, let's ride up and ski. And, like, that was it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is a very unique place in terms of snow and snow quality, and that's funny. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting part of. I feel like maybe what you were imagining. That's a pretty remote area.
Yeah,
it's kind of like someone being like, "Oh, I'm from the East Coast," and like you could think New York City.
Yeah,
but you're from like Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah,
and it's like, or I guess in that, are you from Keene?
Yeah.
You're from Keene. I mean, that's completely different.
Oh yeah, there's like 20,000 people there, whereas when we were at the Porkies, there was like, that little town of White Pine that very few people live in, and we got up and it was a 9-minute drive to the ski area, and like that was it. So it was sweet.
That's awesome. Well, Miles, walk us through. So let's kind of jump back. You guys get on a flight from Salt Lake. You head to the Midwest. Have you been to the Midwest before?
I've been to Chicago, but never anywhere
I think
else,
we told you that didn't count for this trip.
It doesn't count. The city doesn't count. But
so walk us through like where you guys flew into, where you guys drove, all that.
So we, not a super early flight, got up, flew to MSP in Minneapolis, and then was immediately welcomed by nice people, and they saw us carrying boots and ski bags, and I was like, why are you here? Where are you from? You're from Salt Lake. Why are you landing in Minneapolis for a ski trip, which was pretty cool. But so we landed at MSP, got a rental car, and then we drove north to Washburn to Keith's place. Kind of saw his spot and his new garage that he's working on, and it was pretty cool to see his gear and kind of what he's got going. And then the week prior to the Tele Fest, it was snowing. I think it was like 8 to 12 inches a day or a night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, pretty much the whole week. So we had a couple more hours to White Pine, which is right by where we were staying, and we kind of all made an executive decision to just keep driving, and what's another two-ish hours, and hopped back in the car and drove all the way to White Pine in one day, which was a lot of travel, but was definitely worth it when we got there, and we were all cozy and ready to go. And then we woke up and we had another 10-12 inches that next morning, so it was,
you guys hit it perfect.
A lot of travel, but it was sweet.
Where is White Pine in Wisconsin?
No, it's right on the lower mitt of the UP, if I'm correct on that.
The lower mitt.
Or you've got the mitten, the lower part of it. Or no, that's the mitten. Okay, I've got it wrong.
I was just gonna let you walk yourself through that one because I was like, pretty sure the top of the mitten, like that's where the UP kind of messes the whole thing up.
Yeah,
it's like a mitten with like a piece of cloth that's like over the mitten.
So it's on the lower cloth. That's
the lower cloth of the mitten. All the Michiganders are going to be like, you guys suck. This is like the worst description of our state ever.
But it's right over the border from Wisconsin.
Is White Pine by Ontonagon? No. I have no idea where
Ontonagon is more
because that's at the Porkies. You guys weren't all the way to the Porkies yet.
Yeah, so it was from White Pine we drove north, and then when we got to pretty much the border of the lake, then we would drive west over to the Porkies, or east would be to Ontonagon.
Gotcha. Did White Pine have a ski area then?
No. Had a restaurant resort, and
that's where you bumped into my friends Doug and Libby. Mm-hmm. Or you didn't bump into them, but they said they were
there. Yep.
They had like a bowling alley or something in it.
Yeah, it was we went there on Friday night for dinner and drinks, and it was a weird spot, but super cool. People were awesome, and I mean that sums up the trip. People were awesome.
Small town though.
Oh yeah, super small.
It was like 2 entrances into the neighborhood and pretty much 5 or 6 streets that would cross back and forth.
A bowling alley. Was it an actual bowling alley?
Oh yeah,
like one alleyway.
I think there were a couple, but yeah, it was a little different.
That's awesome.
But it was fun. And then White Pine was super cool. It was nice to be so close to the resort where in the morning we could just throw all our stuff on, and you were 8-10 minutes away. And
at White Pine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is what
2 Porkies. It was right next to the resort where we were skiing. Yep.
Sorry, I got confused of where you guys were at. Okay, so the snow's awesome. that's lucky too, because I think the weekend. Wait, let's see. You guys went before World Tele Day.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Because literally World Telemark Day, those guys up in Indian Head, they were like sending pictures of. Did you guys see those like icicles on the skis?
Yeah.
I mean, that's brutal. I mean, they were like full on rained, and then like the skis on the top of the car had like icicles all across the edges, and I was like, oh my gosh. So
yeah, we got lucky, but yep.
Yeah. Well, and you brought up the Glade skiing at Porky's, which I mean they do put work in. I don't know if you've seen those summer photos of those guys. They get out there with like chainsaws and weed whackers. I mean, like they're like literally clearing, they're glading.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
and
yeah.
That's good tree skiing there.
Oh, it's awesome. And like Keith was showing us the Telemark Glade that is named for them, and it's kind of their section of the woods that they clean out themselves. And yeah, it was pretty sweet to see that.
That's awesome. So once you guys got up to, did you guys stay in Ontonagon then?
No, we just went straight to White Pine.
Straight to White Pine.
Yeah, we stopped at Keith's, saw his shop, saw the train set that he has, which is so cool. And then we went right to White Pine.
Wait, back up. Train set.
Yeah, he's got like, like the old, I think this is a little before my time, but you've got the.
Oh, really?
you've got the.
I'm surprised you even know what a train is.
You've got the mini trains on the tracks that you can control with the remote, and Keith has this whole crazy getup where each person in the family has their own track they drive on. And they were showing us it, and like it's just got all the bells and whistles. Like the Oppermans go all out.
I didn't know he was into trains.
Yeah, his train set was pretty crazy.
That's rad. Okay, I think I'm putting it together. I didn't realize White Pine. That's where Keith's place is.
Yeah.
That's his new place.
But it's close to the Porky's.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
I think I was mixing it up with a different. There's another resort. I feel like it has white in it somewhere.
White
Cap.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Which is not anywhere near. It's kind of up that way, but not. It's not there.
Yeah.
Yeah, not where we were.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm putting the pieces together here. This is why we're doing this. We needed to debrief because I had no idea where we sent you guys to. And you guys ended up staying with my good friend Bert.
Yeah, and he is the man.
He's rad, huh?
Yeah, he just like it seemed like he's lived a million different lives. You know, he'd tell us about when he was a brewmaster, or when he was a pro mountain biker or a pro snowboarder. Like, you know, it's just like, man, Bert, I want to have a story of a book of your life to just read it all. He was so cool.
Yep. Yeah. Bert, we stayed with Bert and Brad at the little Airbnb in White Pine we were at. So. Yeah, and
Steve. Yeah, Bert. For those of you that don't know, I actually did a podcast. Is Steve Berthel? He was he's like an expert brewmaster. He's known for in those telly circles in the Midwest for making Telewhacker beer, which I guess you guys had the opportunity to partake of.
Yeah.
We did. We were the first ones to try the keg when on what was that, Friday? Before the day before the Tele Fest. Yeah, he had us test it and give the approval.
How was the test?
It was good.
All right.
It was good.
Yeah. I mean, because that beer is like, that's actually how I got to know him, was someone told me about Telewhacker beer, and that's when he used to own his own brewery down in southern Michigan. And it was like on tap there. Mm-hmm. So, but nowadays, see, that's what's cool. You guys get to taste that recipe because it's not, he only makes it, I think, for those Telefests.
Yeah.
So it's kind of underground.
Yep. It was cool.
And supposedly this was his best batch yet. So, yeah.
Yep.
Did he say why?
No.
Every year.
I mean,
secret.
Yeah, I'm sure every year.
Every year. This is my best. This is my best batch ever. That's awesome. So, you guys are staying with Bert, and then I guess day one, you guys got there the day before Telefest started.
Yeah.
Walk us through, what was the first day like? You know, you guys get there and you go to, what was your first, you guys have never skied in the Midwest. I mean, this is a pretty unique Midwest resort too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you literally are on Lake Superior. It's how many lifts?
One.
There's one. And I guess there is the rope toe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, first impressions. I mean, how much snow was there the first day?
I mean, there was so much snow at first. I remember we were just kind of waiting to get things going, and I was like literally just taking these little like 10-foot laps in the parking lot, just like getting all the fresh snow because it was just so good.
Oh, is this when you were getting towed behind the truck?
No, that was later in the day.
Okay.
No, so
We'll get to that.
Thursday, the day before the fest, we were going to do a little backcountry day with a sled, and plans kind of fell through because we didn't want to get the sled stuck in 3-4 foot drifts because it was been snowing all week. So Thursday morning, me, Keith, and Goat is the kind of the guy that helped us out and ran the resort for the weekend. But he was like, what do you want to do instead? What can we do? And we were like, we got skins. Let's go hike around and see what we can get. And while we were figuring this out, T2 is taking these like sidestep one turn in the parking lot. And it was like,
that's some dedication.
Like
dude.
probably like, I don't know, like not quite knee, but it was deep snow.
Yeah.
Watched him make these turns. I was like, wow, this is going to be good.
So it was pretty light.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was super blower, as they say.
Yep. So kind of hiked around on Thursday and skins on and off multiple times and just took laps, kind of went on the backside, a couple trails, went and hit the radio towers kind of above and on the side.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was fun. Just kind of kicked around, did some laps on Thursday, kind of got a good intro to what we were going to be skiing. So
Yeah, and when we went over to the backside, there was this really beautiful vista that kind of showed the rest of the park, and he was like, oh, this is where we were gonna go. And they were just kind of these lumps of mountains that looked really amazing and looked like they actually had some really rad terrain. So we'll have to make it back and go ski those sometime. But it was awesome.
That's all. So it wasn't, I guess that was the first thing I thought of is like if it snowed that much, there's a point where there's too much snow.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Did it end up being too much while you guys were there?
No, I don't think so. Maybe in the flatter sections when you're almost at the lift.
Yeah.
But besides that, it was kind of just right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So gear choice. I don't know what you guys took ski wise, but I'm kind of curious because Keith Opperman, who, for those of you that haven't met Keith, he runs Midwest Tele Fest, but he's also our Freeheel Life service and demo center certified tech living up in Wisconsin. But he always says that the best skis for the Midwest are short and fat, which for me, I never think that way because I always think it's not going to be that much snow. But I feel like this particular adventure you guys go on, he may be right on this, that short and fat is the way to go. I don't know. What gear did you take, T2?
I was on a pair of skis that was like 174 and 104 underfoot. So like pretty short and fat. And
Yeah.
I thought it was perfect. But honestly, the only thing is I was riding comps and definitely could have gone for the pros instead.
The TX Comp boot?
Yeah.
What? So, okay, why would you go with a softer boot?
Because like I felt like it was too much support, so it made the terrain like a bit too easy. Like when I was skiing on leathers, that was when I had the most fun, I'd say. Because it like the support of the gear really matched the style of the hill best. So I was like skiing this big mountain setup with stiff springs and a stiff boot, but not like skiing big mountain terrain. So I just don't think it paired super well, but it did the job for sure.
Do you feel like, and I'm kind of this mindset, I'm curious what your thoughts are, is I like when the trees are tighter like that, like you said, a stiff setup is like more like your big mountain setup.
Yeah.
When you're making, I always feel like quicker turns in tighter trees, like in that area, the softer boot and a softer spring, it's just easier. It's quicker. Like I don't have to like engage. Is that kind of the same thing you're saying?
Totally. Yeah. You know, you don't need as much force or power and you can kind of flow a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like when I was skiing out east, I was like on a pair of T1s in walk mode. So it was a much softer setup.
Yeah.
Kind of better suited for the terrain.
Yeah. Huh. Okay. So what did you take, Miles?
I did the exact opposite of T2. I skied TX Pros, a little softer boot than the comp.
Yep.
I backed the standard springs off pretty loose on the skis I was on. I was on the Powder Hounds from Bishop. I took the shorter version, 176, 115 underfoot.
Oh, geez.
Short and fat, and that ski was so fun.
Oh, cool. So that worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was perfect. It was. I had pretty good ends of both, of short and fat with those, and then I also had the Protector 95s, which were a little bit more underfoot, and those ones were like 184.
Yep.
So it was good to ski both and realize, like, yeah, the Bishops were fun for those short, tight trees and softer snow. It was awesome. But yeah, definitely the softer boot, softer springs. It was perfect setup.
I was gonna say our 184 Protector, I feel like would be it's harder to manage ski in some of those tight spots. Sometimes it's just like I noticed that Taylor and I were talking about skiing the 174s in the trees the other day, and it seemed a lot easier to manage, like just the swing weight and like getting it around stuff.
Yeah, there were definitely some turns and lines that there were a little bit too much ski, but
yeah,
I mean, definitely not like a 210 or a 205. So,
and did you guys ski leather setups on a POW day?
Yeah, the next day we skied leather setups, which was so much fun. And I tried to take some turns in the trees, but it was pretty deadly. Like, you'd take two turns and then you'd have to stop because you're about to get crossed up in trees. And but
there's a lot of deadfall in those trees too.
Yeah, but Keith let me borrow his 230 length skis, and I took one run on them and they broke.
Oh my god, I saw that.
Owes Keith a pair of skis.
They were 230s?
I think they were 230s or 240s. They were big.
Yeah,
what?
They were insanely long, and they had like reverse side cut, so it was fattest underfoot. And I asked Keith if I could take him out, and
what?
And he said, "Yeah, just if you break them, bring back all the parts." And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I was skiing with Brad, and I took a few turns, and I felt like I was really getting in the flow with it. And then all of a sudden, like, I was on the ground, and the tip of the ski was poking out of the snow, and it had broken.
You literally snapped it in half?
Yeah.
Like the front, like 30 centimeters.
Yeah. What?
And Keith,
what did you do? Did you go under a tree or something?
No, I was just skiing a groomer. Like,
yeah, right.
I swear.
I was just skiing a groomer and snapped your ski in half.
But Keith was like so stoked about it. I felt so bad, but he was like, "This is awesome. You need to sign it."
Wait, what? He was excited about it?
Yeah, he thought it was hilarious.
Oh, all right. Well,
and then he tried to make a turn when the one ski was broken and the tip went straight into the snow.
Oh my god!
Didn't work.
You should have taken one of those tip repair things downstairs, dude.
The plastic ones.
Yeah, that's what I was. We were talking about that the other day with somebody too and they're like, "What would you ever use those for?" Well, there you go. You break your tip off, you just snap the tip on and go. That's funny. That's really I'll have to ask him about 230. I didn't even know anybody made a I mean, like a
big.
I'm trying to remember the name of the ski. It started with an O, but that's all I can remember from it.
An O, Olin.
Yeah, not Olin.
Osnes? But that's with an A. That's Swedish.
I'd never heard of the ski company before, but it was a unique ski for sure.
And I think the toes were not 75 mil. I think they were like 80 or 85.
They were 79 mil.
What?
Yeah. So his boots were a little sloppy.
Oh, is it like one of those old, like an old Nordic?
Yeah.
Like the little wire bales or something?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, geez. All right.
But then after the skin and tour, we were going back to Keith's house, and the roads were still full of snow. So I asked him if I could get towed behind his truck and just ski around on the road, and he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So like, we went to this parking lot, and he started towing me, and I was like jumping on the snowbanks and drifting around, and it was just so much fun. And he was like, "Oh, we'll just go home." So he just drove all the way home with me behind his truck, and we were like going through White Pine, and like everyone that we drove by was cheering and clapping, and oh my gosh, that was definitely one of the highlights for me. But definitely took a toll on my ski bases.
Oh, was it just like full gravel dirt?
Yeah.
Was it asphalt that you were on? So was it like dirt?
I think it was dirt. but it was kind of like that dirt hasn't been plowed, like kind of snow,
chunky rocks on it.
Yeah. But like you could hop on the snowbank because the snowbanks were like 6 feet tall, and it was like you get on top of the snowbank and you kind of be surfing on the top part of the snowbank, and then I could jump off the end of it and like splat flat on the ground and jump up the next one. But
it's like ski joring. With like a F-150 or something.
It was gnarly.
Yeah.
It turned to
Did you do it, Miles?
No, I filmed it all. I was in the back of the truck freezing. It turned from a 30-second tow to a 10-15 minute drive all the way back home. But, it was awesome.
And then I was like, oh look, we're already here. But my legs were definitely tired after that.
How cold was it this trip?
We got lucky. It wasn't too bad. Taylor was Telite was not very happy with how much warmer it was for us than it was for him.
Yeah, it can get cold up there.
I think the coldest it was like 1 or 2 degrees on Saturday for just a little bit, and then obviously that night it got pretty cold. But while we were skiing, I think the coldest it was like a couple of degrees.
Yeah,
I think phones said feels like 10 under 15, negative 15, but
wow.
It was 10 under negative 15 when Tay was there, so we got a little lucky, but
I was told that we were there for the coldest day, so that makes me happy.
Well, and that keeps the snow good too. I think that's what's unique too, is you've got the lake effect snow, you've got the cold that's keeping, even though it's higher moisture content a lot of times out there, I think you still get pretty good snow.
But it was interesting. I was asking Keith about that, and he said that when it gets too cold, the snow will actually kind of slow down and get squeaky.
Squeaky snow?
Yeah, and it doesn't ski very well, which surprised me. So I guess there's like a kind of perfect spot, and he said that we hit it right on. We were in the right amount of cold.
It was the best snow ever, and it was the best beer ever.
Oh yeah,
and everything was the best.
Best Tele Fest ever.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it was. How many people actually showed up? I mean, it was in the hundreds, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think when we talked to Bill, I think he had like 120 or 150 tickets.
Wow.
Specific to that Saturday, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
And it was, you could see it when probably the percentage of tele skiers to non-tele skiers was 70-80%. It's like weird if you saw someone on alpine skis or a snowboard.
Yeah.
It was like pretty much every single person was on teles, which was super cool. But
and everyone was skiing so well, which was just so cool to watch. Like you'd sit on the chairlift, and they called the run right under at Hollywood, and like just everyone that went under Hollywood skied so well, and that was so awesome to see. Like, not only were you watching telemark skiers, but you're watching like really, really great telemark skiers making great turns.
That's awesome. Well, and this is the interesting part. I mean, for you guys to see that many tele skiers in one place, I talk about it a lot on the podcast that like I think the Midwest is a really great place to grow the sport. And I think it's funny because, like you said, Miles, when you get off the airplane and people are like, oh, you're coming from Salt Lake to go skiing in the Midwest, I think there's always this sense of like, why would you come from someplace like Utah to go skiing out there? But I mean, I feel like going to places like that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you can become a good skier.
No doubt.
I don't know. Why do you think people have gotten so good out there?
Because like you get so many laps in. I think that's
I didn't think about repetition.
And like I think that's what it felt like for me growing up in New Hampshire. It's like you just skied all day, and especially in the Midwest, if you stop skiing, you're gonna get cold. So
yep.
I think you just keep taking laps, and like it might not be as short, but or as long, but that means you can go hit that same cliff many more times or do this and that, and I think it builds really good skiers.
Yeah, that's I like that high repetition.
Yeah,
that's cool. What do you think?
I think it was people were there to ski. They weren't there to show off their new jacket or their new skis, or they didn't care what boots you had or what skis you had or what they had. I mean, we rode up, I forgot his name, but we rode up the chair first or second lap, and he was probably 5'10", 5'11", our size, and he was skiing like these 154 like old Armadas with like a 3-pin on it or something, and we're like, where are those the skis you normally ski? And he goes, no, I left my other ones at home. I found these in a dumpster a couple weeks ago, and they just didn't care what skis you had or what boots you had, and that was really cool for me to see. And it was about the skiing. It was about friendships and meeting new people and taking people from, I mean, I've never skied anything like that, and people were accepting of it and showed me how, and didn't ski away and not wait or whatever. So it was cool to just like, it was about the skiing, it was about the people and stuff, which was really cool. And yeah, no one really cared, which made the skiing a lot more fun. So but it was cool.
Go ahead.
Oh, it was really cool to be hanging around Keith for a lot of it, because like, Keith and his family were the ones kind of in charge of putting it on. So he knew it, most everybody that was there. So like every time we were getting off the lift or at the bottom, like someone Keith knew was there, which was just so cool to see. It's like we were hanging out with the mayor of the Porkies.
The mayor.
No, that's probably true. I mean, he's been going to that for probably 30 years.
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah, there were so many people that were like, yeah, I've been to all of them except for just this one time.
They remembered exactly which one they missed.
Everyone's hardcore, and I was asking Keith about when it started, and he said there wasn't really an official, like, this year's going to be the Midwest Tele Fest. He said that one year they were just like, oh, I guess we've been doing this, and now it's a thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think I think I asked you if the Life Tools guys were there. I can't remember. Did you guys meet those guys?
I don't think they were. I don't think they made it up this season, because we talked about it.
Yeah,
the original kind of who started it, and
yeah, because they were a shop down in Green Bay. I don't know if T2 heard this story.
Oh no, I haven't.
They were like the original guys that I met them 2 years ago. There was a place. It was like almost like an emporium kind of store.
Uh-huh.
Like they were like importing like it was like beer brewing supplies,
ski gear,
Telemark ski gear,
and camp gear.
Yeah,
like
so it was like light, hence the Life Tools. So it was just like a hippie emporium or something, and those guys basically started, kind of gathering all those people, and then I think there was multiple iterations of that, but it is, I think the people, it makes it that's one of those true ski areas too. I mean, there's no glitz and glamour to that place. I mean, it's like you've got like a lodge, burger and fries.
Yep.
And then there's, I guess you guys did they do the chili cook-off?
They did.
Yeah, they did.
How'd it go?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And there's that whole gathering, room where they did the chili cook-off, I think, kind of at the end of the lodge.
Yeah.
Jam sessions when I was there, I don't know. Were people bringing instruments out this time?
The jam session didn't happen, but there was kind of like, everyone was hanging out after the cook-off and the potluck, but it was cool. Anytime you'd get too cold, you could hop in the lodge, and there would be a group of, not the fake, well, the Midwest Tele Dads would hang out in there, but then you had the real Tele Dads that were also in there just sipping on beers and chatting, and it seemed like that was as much of the occasion as skiing was to just sit in there and talk to your friends about, back in the glory days. So.
Yeah, I think a couple of them in there didn't even buy ski passes for the weekend. They just came up and went and hung out in the lodge all week. But
that's funny.
That was a cool spot, that little room. But yeah, we got the chili cook-off and the award ceremony and stuff. It was fun.
Oh, before I forget, when Keith first gave us our tickets for the first day,
oh my God!
He
texted me about this. This is hilarious.
He gave Miles the wicket and his ticket, and he's like, "Here you go." And Miles was like, "What do I do with this?" And I thought that was so hilarious, because that's what I'm used to, and everyone was giving him grief for it. And I remember overhearing someone say "Oh, did you hear about that guy who didn't know what a wicket was?"
All weekend it was, "Oh, you're Miles. You're the kid who didn't know what a wicket was. Nice to meet you."
Well, it made me realize when Keith texted me and was like, dude, Miles didn't know what a wicket was, and I was like, wow, we've really come to a point where it's aged out. And I mean, if you're at small ski hills like Granite Gorge, they probably have a wicket. I probably should explain it, because there's probably someone out there that's like, oh my God, I don't know what a wicket is either.
Oh, yeah.
So like if you haven't been a skier in for a while, or been to you're a newer skier or snow person, or you haven't gone to like an old school resort, a wicket is like a little metal wire that goes around like a zipper or like a belt loop or something like that. And then they would hand you the ticket that would kind of come on really like a printer roll, and they would, cut it off, and then like a sticker, you'd peel the ticket off, and then you basically laminate the two sides of the sticker over the metal wire wicket, and that's your ski pass.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's for me growing up, that was kind of a ritual. Like,
oh yeah.
Awesome.
Like how good are, like I'd see some pretty garbage tickets. People just kind of like slap it together, and I'd be like, dude, like the edges were off. That always bothered me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're like that, T2, but I would actually pre-fold the ticket.
Oh, genius.
See, I pre-fold before I peel. Then I've got the crease, and then you get a perfect crease, and then you just have to match those edges up on the top.
Oh, mine was perfect.
Was it good?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's still on my jacket too.
I think there's a real culture to the peeling of the ticket on the wicket.
Yeah.
and then you'd always try to see how many you could stack up and get your ticket as long as possible, because you just kind of show the logo up top, and then show it off to your friends like, dude, look, I had a week over here, and check out all these tickets.
Stack all the tickets.
Yeah.
We used to do that too. What's funny is when I was a kid, I thought I was learning like what ski bums were, and I start realizing that there's tricks to getting tickets to go skiing. And so that was always, I don't know if I should disclose this, because I guess the statute of limitations is probably up, but I would always hang out in the parking lot, and I'm like a high school kid, and I'm like, I don't have money to buy a ticket. And so I'd hang in the parking lot, and there was 2 tricks you could use for the wicket. And I would carry a pair of wire cutters. And you'd see someone coming out, and you'd be like, hey, you heading home for the day? And they'd be like, yeah, for sure. And you could peel their ticket back, and then you could clip it inside the crease of the sticker.
Yeah.
And then you can just throw that thing on and
use the sticker to hold it back on.
It worked until the lifties were told to start tugging tickets, though. And so there was a couple times where, like, you roll up and they're like, hey, and they see your punch ticket, but then they tug it and it would come off your pants, and you'd be like, man, I don't know what happened.
It's weird.
How the hell did you do that?
Wicket.
But or you could put it on the heater of your car if you could clip it, and you could get extra. They wouldn't give extra wickets out back then, because they started figuring out people were clipping the wicket, putting it on their dashboard heater, and then it would make the glue of the sticky part undo, and then you could undo it and then take a fresh wicket and you could re-glue it. So
that's awesome.
There you go. I pay for tickets always now, people. Just so you know, but there's some good wicket history. That's a good story, though.
Yeah.
Yep, I forgot. Yeah, that's good. It was funny. There was a group of people around us when Keith handed us those, and I looked at T2, and Keith pretty much said, what the hell?
They probably had no idea
what do I do with this thing?
They're probably like, you've never seen this? What?
This sits in my pocket, or what do I do here? And yeah, that was good. But
that's so funny.
Yep.
Was there anything else that kind of popped up that you felt like you hadn't seen before?
I mean, I think there were a ton of these really awesome events. Like we did a big group shred, I think Sunday morning, which was so much fun, where everyone got to the top of the lift, and it started by everyone was like tapping their poles together and like getting super loud, and then they took a photo of us, and we all skied down the hill together, and I'm surprised there wasn't more carnage, but I think I only saw like 1 or 2 people fall, and then we went back up and we did a giant human slalom, which was super cool.
Yeah, I forgot they do that.
Yeah, like all the way down the hill, and I thought it was really awesome that there was even like some snowboarders and some alpine skiers in there. We're not excluding anybody, and that was so much fun.
I mean, yeah, the human slalom, it only took 40 seconds to a minute to get from top to bottom, but I think that run, it took us like 8 or 10 minutes to get to the bottom.
Yeah,
because it was 50, 60 people that you had to wait for to ski by you, and then you had to go. And
basically what he's talking about is like the first person skis down, 20 yards, stops, and then the next person comes and goes around them, and they basically, you're creating human gates, like, every whatever, how many feet, I don't know. I mean, 20
to the
feet.
bottom, it got pretty tight. I think they were probably 2-3 feet gates. And
I'm surprised when the beer's flowing that people aren't totally taking each other out on that. I've seen some close calls, or somebody goes too tight afterwards.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden you're like, I can't get around this
There'll
guy.
be a few clips in our video of the tight human gates. Yep, they'll be in there. But
it was awesome.
It was fun.
And I think I was on leathers at that point, so that definitely added an extra challenge. But after that event, there was the Midwest Smelly Knee Pad, which was so much fun.
Which is a GS race.
Yeah.
Not a big mountain one like we do here.
Yeah, but this one may be gnarlier because of the crash that Keith took.
It was intense.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah,
he went down hard.
Yeah.
For those of you who are familiar with, I believe his name's Steve, the Telemark Wizard.
Did Steve take him out?
Yeah, no, he got the best video ever, like side by side with Keith, and Keith just goes down, and then Anthony goes down right behind him, and it's like one of the most painful crashes I've ever seen, because Keith's up and like all of a sudden he's just slammed on the ground.
Did either of you guys podium on that thing?
No,
it was intense.
It's hard.
Yeah, no.
I got smoked by some guys and I crashed when I was there. It was tough.
I thought I was gonna do all right, and like I fell in my qualifying lap.
Oh god,
we had so many people we had to do heats.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it was awesome, and not everyone was like. I mean, there were some really fantastic leather skiers because some of them came from leathers, but then there was also people who were like, "Oh, I just got this set up," and they were just trying to figure it out. So it was super cool. Like, everyone was trying to do it.
Yeah.
And then after that was the uphill downhill race, which was super cool. And I was trying to do it last minute, but I didn't have any skins. So someone gave me some kick wax, which I'd never used before.
Oh my god! Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you do it on the leathers?
Yeah.
With kick wax?
I tried. So I was like, how do I put kick wax on? And someone's like, here, you just gotta go like this, blah blah blah, rub it on. So I gave it a few, and I was like, man.
Did they tell you to scrape it off at the top?
No. And
10-4.
Well, and
you didn't make it very far.
Yeah, and I was like, guys, like, this doesn't feel like I'm really sticking very well. And I only made it to the flat, and then when they got to the uphill, everyone ran up, and I just
You're like herringbone.
Yeah,
just the rest
back.
of it.
Yeah, I just couldn't even go, and I was just like, I'm not cut out for this. I just turned around, and they were at the finish line, like, you're back already? And I was like, oh, I didn't even make it up the hill. But now I know you need to rub on a lot of kick wax.
A lot more than you think.
The problem with that stuff too, that a lot of people don't realize that the double camber on some of those old skis, depending on, I don't know if you had double camber, but sometimes the weight, there was a weight to the double camber. So if you weren't heavy enough to actually push the center of the ski all the way down, the kick wax actually won't connect.
Yeah, totally.
So, because I think they use this stuff called glister too, if I remember right, which even predates me, but it was even tackier than kick wax.
Oh, wow.
It was basically chunk this stuff on and skin up, then you'd scrape at the top. And then you'd ski down.
Oh,
so,
cool. But
anyways,
our buddy Chris won that. Yeah, he was the guy that just hopped on the lift with us, and we ended up skiing with him all weekend. So
yeah, we were with him every day.
Yeah,
oh, that's awesome.
That was pretty cool. And then after doing the races, I think, we skied a little bit longer. And then we had the chili cook-off, and there was a whole potluck dinner, which was just awesome. I love free food, so it was great. We could just have as much as we wanted, and everyone was sitting there. Some people were playing cards, just chatting about how great the skiing had been. And then there was a really cool little awards for best costume and the race and the uphill downhill race. And then after that, it was just hang out.
I love that. Well, Miles, if I guess just to kind of wrap us up is, if someone's thinking to go to the Midwest, we've obviously highlighted a bunch of this stuff, but, if someone's thinking of going and checking it out, what are your tips? What are your hot tips for next year's Midwest Tele Fest?
Go.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking around with Tay. We got to find a way to convince him to, instead of sending one or two people out there next year, we all got to go.
Oh, just do another.
Just the whole Freeheel Live crew.
Shut down the weekend.
Sorry, Salt Lake. The shop's closed for a couple days. We're going to the Midwest, and
that would actually be pretty funny.
So anyway, but yeah, it was awesome. And if you're worried about not being able to ski with anyone or no one's going to accept you, that's not the true and far from it. And pretty much if you have tele skis on, you will be more than welcomed and you won't have a problem finding people to ski with. And it is cold. I skied with an extra layer on for the first time up there, and it was a little different.
Like the first time ever?
I usually don't ski with very many layers, so it was weird to wear leggings up there. This is weird. My knee pads fit extra tight on those cold days.
Oh, that's funny.
No, it was great. As far as there were people camping in the parking lot. There were a couple snow tents and huts that people would build up with fireplaces, and it was just cool. If you're thinking about it, or if you are somewhere near, there were people that were anywhere from 6 to 12 hours away that drove up there for the weekend. That they made it happen, and that was really cool to see. No one really cared, and it was about Telefest. It was about the people, and it was about the skiing, which was super cool. So
I love that. No, that's and I agree. Just go to it. It's worthwhile. And yeah, people sacrifice massive time. You have all those Lower Peninsula pinheads from Michigan.
Oh yeah.
And you've got Wisconsin, Minnesota. You got the Duluth crew.
Yeah.
Midwest Tele Dads. Actual Midwest Tele Dads from everywhere. If you don't know what we're talking about, we'll have them on sometime, I'm sure. It might be R-rated.
Yeah, that would
After Dark.
That'd be a difficult podcast to have.
Freeheel Life After Dark with the Midwest Tele Dads. I don't know. I just don't want to get in trouble. Might have to edit that one depending on what happens.
But one more thing too, I forgot to mention was the demo we had Saturday.
Oh
was
yeah,
the demo day. We had the tent and
yep.
all the gear that Keith has up there, and it was really cool to see the amount of people, alpine skiers, snowboarders, who were like, what is this? That maybe they were there for a weekend or they were there for Saturday and they got lucky and they were there on Telefest day, and it was, I want to try it. And then they'd 2-3 hours later, they'd finally bring the skis back and say, sorry, I had too much fun on this. But
classic demo.
That was really cool. Same thing on World Tele Day. We couldn't keep a ski and binding at the tent, and that was the same thing in the Midwest, which was really cool. So
I don't think people listen when you're like, yeah, take 2 runs, come back and let us know how it goes. And you're like, it's like 4:00. You're like, you took these out at 9 a.m. Where have you been?
Said it was a demo day, right?
Free demo. Cool. Cool. Thanks. No, that's awesome. Well, I appreciate you guys giving us a little debrief. For people that want to find you guys online, tell me.
Mine is Telemon2, Telemon 2 on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Miles Shaffer on Instagram.
Perfect. And these guys
about it.
And you guys, I appreciate you guys going out there. Big thanks to Keith Opperman for putting on the event and having the demos. You can rent demos from him out of his place in Washburn, Wisconsin. And you can do that directly through our site at freeheellife.com too. So, and later this week, make sure to scope out the YouTube channel, and should be on IGTV, the vlog. I don't know. We got to come up with a better name for that. But the video, the
adventure video,
the adventure video from Freeheel Life about going to the Midwest. So everything we talked about, these guys are going to be showing all the goods, and you can check it out. So be sure to do that. Thanks for coming on, you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. See you later. Okay. Always a good debrief with these guys once they get back. Like we talked about, Taylor went there last year. I went the year before that. And overall, it's just a fantastic time. And we love going to the Midwest and seeing all our friends out there. And couldn't be happier to have Keith Opperman out there doing the thing. And I can't wait to get back myself. It's going to be great when I do. So thanks to T2 and Miles for them taking the time to do a little breakdown of the trip, some funny stories, and how it was. I'm so glad they got some good powder skiing too. That's amazing. Such a special place out there in the Porkies. And I know they've already got the dates for the 33rd annual Midwest Tele Fest next year. They've got a Facebook page. You can go check it out. There's not a lot of hotels and Airbnbs up there, so you definitely want to get on it early. So if you are inspired to go and check this out, as you should be, highly suggest getting it on the calendar and start making plans ASAP. So I'm going to be keeping the podcast going every week for the foreseeable future. I don't know. Maybe I'll take a break one day. But I'm going to be rolling every Monday and into the spring and summer. I've got some amazing guests starting to line up, and can't wait to share those episodes with you as well. You can always connect with me. I'm pretty active on the social media, Instagram at Josh Nomadson. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, all that good stuff. As always, we obviously want to promote Freeheel Life, the Telemark shop and brand, and you can find us at freeheellife.com. You can email the team directly at customerservice@freeheellife.com. Our other venture, Telemark Skier Magazine, you can check that out, telemarkskier.com. And you can always email me directly at podcast@freeheellife.com with questions, comments, love, hate mail, whatever. Send it in. Anyways, I had a great time today. Hope you did too. Thank you for listening. And if you're an Apple Podcast listener, maybe take a second, rate and review the podcast. Help me get in front of those new eyeballs so we can help people find out about the podcast and what we're doing. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic week. And until next week, spread Telemark always, my friends. Peace out.